My name is Tim Dolehanty. I'm the County Administrator Controller for Ogemaw County, and for those who may be geographically challenged, that's the area around West Branch and points north and east. West Branch is kind of in the corner of the county. Now, I'm not going to repeat anything Kelly just said because we've been through much of that ourselves, creating our own advisory committee and moving forward. We got off the ground and running about October of last year. We first learned about the settlement funds almost by accident, reading some of the material put out by MAC, and realized something was coming. So we did have a little bit of time to discuss with the board just exactly what our approach be, even before a lot of the NACO material was first released. We are fortunate on our board to have as a chairperson somebody who's already in the medical field and was very familiar with a lot of what was going on with opioids across our county. So a champion already built into the commission. Our committee actually consists of two commissioners. The second commissioner, Wilsey, describes me as the quarterback of this for Ogemaw County. Now, just looking at me, any attribution of athletic ability probably is misplaced. But okay, that being said, I do bring something to the background of this that I think is really going to help us, and that is about the first third of my career, I was a planner. And one thing that we do as planners is gather an awful lot of data about our communities and form a foundation, at least a baseline. Where do we sit today? And so MAC, fortunately for us, did a lot of that groundwork already, a lot of that legwork. Wealth of data on the MAC website about things like the number of opioid, it's really opioid, but drug-related issues, challenges with law enforcement, arrests, per 100,000. They talk about the number of overdoses per 100,000 and so forth. A lot of data in there that's going to be very valuable to this process. And so what I bring to that immediately is this idea that, I look at a table, I can maybe see trends and so on, but boy, it's a lot better if I can map it. So one of the first things we did was started mapping a lot of that data for our region that was put together by MAC. And we see that in some cases, Ogemaw County has a higher concentration of one challenge or another. Other neighboring counties have similar, but maybe their challenges are a little bit different of an area. So looking at that, we're immediately thinking of, well, in our county, for some reason, West Branch has become sort of a medical hub for our northeast or south central east, whatever region that we're in. For that part, we've got a very, very big presence by both My Michigan and McLaren and West Branch. They both invested millions of dollars into facilities. Both have built hospitals that actually have ERs, and spun off from all these specialty areas. We've got a pain clinic. We've got orthopedic something or other. We have an OBGYN out of My Michigan that's just new to the area. So we're seeing this not just, again, for Ogemaw County, but branching out. All the counties around us are starting to see this. So as we got into our process, it became apparent, particularly with our participants and the participants who are providers, we're saying, this isn't obviously just an Ogemaw County issue, but the regional aspect of the medical care, we really do need to start looking at some of these other counties because we're seeing some of their challenges come to us, whether we want it or not. This is where the treatment is occurring. So rather than just look at it within our silo, let's expand our horizons a little bit. I'm very excited to say that we just were able to have a meeting with 3 other counties, it'd be Oscoda, Roscommon, and Crawford County. We're going to help, I think, enhance our community survey efforts by actually participating in those surveys as well. Now, those surveys are going to look at specific arenas, people who've had shared experiences with the whole addiction issue, but also people who are first responders and people who are providers, right down the line. But we'll see responses from across the 4-county region. I would surely, for my own benefit, like to see Gladwin, Aranac, and Iosco included in this, but one step at a time. We've got a good 4-county core to work with. The material, the data that's reported out, each county will have its own data, but we're going to see the benefit of the aggregate data for all 4 of our counties. Now, a county like Ogemaw, population of about 22,000 and really kind of stagnant, similar with the other 3 counties that I just mentioned. Our settlement dollars are going to be in the $3.5, almost $4 million range over 18 years. And in a county like us, that's a big chunk of dollars, but we also know it's not going to go very far. on our own. But if we are able to collaborate with these other counties, suddenly maybe if we have a single identified focus that we really need to put our dollars into, now we have an opportunity to pool those dollars and bring some real assistance into the community to help our people. I think our hardest hurdle to clear, as we got into this, was the fact that we are, with these dollars, charged with, in effect, cleaning up a mess. Our immediate requests for funding came from law enforcement, as might be expected. We were seriously considering purchasing one of these full-body scanners for our jail to help identify anything that may be on a person coming into that facility and making the jail kind of a safe area, or at least an area that didn't see a lot of opioid use or any kind of drug coming into the facility. We were advised against that, and we said, well, why? This is going to prevent. Well, this isn't our focus. Our focus is to deal with those who are already impacted by the addictions and help them get the services to bring them out of that cycle. That's a tough thing for us as a county to really get our minds around. But we did have the fortunate benefit on our committee of having our local community mental health agency involved and our local health department, both of which are multi-county organizations. And they were able to bring home to us the reality of some of the statistics that we're seeing on paper of what this really meant. We don't have any support groups based in West Branch. We do now. We have, through My Michigan, a collaboration with Catholic Services that are actually bringing some people into the community with that level of expertise. But bottom line is we didn't have a lot of that coming in. And it's not that our jail was doing a bad job or anything, but that's not really where the focus is. Our focus needs to be helping those who are already out there overcoming some of those challenges. A couple of things that we have going on the regional issue. I mentioned the surveys that already happened. This is being coordinated by MSU, and I don't recall what Rihanna's long title is, but they're somehow connected with BHHS as well. Again, relieving us of an awful lot of legwork. We don't have to put together the surveys. We don't have to actually do the distribution and the tallies and so on. They're doing that for us, and we know it's it's good, credible professionals who are doing it. They're also taking an interesting step to this to incentivize, and this seems to be a big issue as we talk about focus groups in these surveys. We need the responses, so how do we incentivize people? Well, they're doing things like Amazon gift cards. We have focus groups going on right now. In fact, I think there's one happening today where the participants will receive a $50 Amazon gift card as incentive to get their participation. I'm immediately thinking, okay, so if we have 20 participants, $50, I'm going to have to budget this much money, and staff said, no, we will take care of that on our end. We will take care of all that funding. You save your resources for when your plan is put together to target those areas that you have identified in your plan and make sure that the services are provided. And the same things with the survey. I think it's actually a $10 gift card that they're talking about as incentive for people to take the survey. So wonderful. Other things that I really like to see, and there's the use of technology. We have on the surveys, maybe posters that will go up, and they'll have a QR code, so all they have to do is go up with their phone, take their picture, and boom, they're into the survey. And that will also help on the end of those who have to tally to make sure that they know that there aren't some bot out there that's actually taking the survey. These are actual people who are doing it. And again, I'm glad they're having to deal with all that technical component. So criticism that we've seen, Amy has done an awful lot of Zoom meetings on Fridays at noon. But one of the sessions that she was a part of was one with a number of providers who were very critical about the fact that counties weren't doing enough to get the funding into the communities. Well, we're not experts at this. We want to make sure that when we do it, we're doing it right. So that does mean that planning effort up front has to happen. We have put about $10,000 into some education into our community, but that's it. That's all we felt comfortable doing so far. I think the survey that they're doing or they're coordinating through MAC is going to help alleviate some of that. And I appreciate the impatience of the folks who are the providers because they're seeing this firsthand. They want the dollars into the community. We also need to be accountable for those dollars. We want to make sure that they're going to the right place. I think we'll get there. I think probably in my own mind by the end of the year, I think we'll have a good framework for our plan moving forward. But I also think that we'll be able to show the community with great confidence that the dollars are going to the right place. If we can get the coordination from the counties around us, I think that's just going to enhance it even more. And I think we're off to a good start, and I certainly will be doing my part to encourage that process to continue.